Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films. We started from the bottom. Now we're here. Now we're here. We're not here. We're here. We're here. Back at 5-5 after a 1-5 start. 4 straight victories. 5 straight games of the defense holding the opposing offense to under 20 points. The Ravens team is really coming together. Not kicking on all cylinders yet, but have still managed to win. And that's my main takeaway this week. Just straight off the top is that you look at the 4 wins. We won with a backup quarterback at home against a team in the Chicago Bears that's leading their division. And then 3 straight road games, including a Thursday night game against the Dolphins, a divisional game against the Cleveland Browns team that always gives us trouble. We survived a game in which we turned the ball over 3 times, 2 Lamar interceptions that were fluky. LeJohntay Wester bobbling a ball that he probably shouldn't have even tried to catch. Turned it over 3 times and still win in Cleveland. Myles Garrett, 4 sacks. So, hey, I'm not going to minimize this 4-game win streak at all. I think it's an impressive feat for this team, even though the teams themselves supposed to be the down part of the schedule. It was quite challenging. 3 road games in a row. And, of course, to start that streak, the Tyler Huntley gem that he threw against the Bears, who are, don't look now, but it's not the Lions, it's not the Packers. It is the Bears in first place in the AFC North. So, hey, man, I can't help but to be positive considering where we were, winning 4 straight in that fashion, no easy task. And just imagine if we had dropped even one of those games, how different the vibes would be right now. We'd still be 2 games under 500, be 4-6, 2 games behind the Steelers. We'd be looking at fans saying, man, we need to win out to get into the playoffs. 5-5 feels a heck of a lot better. And it took everybody on that team, from the number 1 guy on the roster, Lamar, to the 53rd man on the roster, who might have been Keandre Jackson 4 weeks ago, to win those 4 games. So happy Jason tonight on Huddle It Up Films. I hope you guys are feeling the vibe too. We can criticize all we want. There's plenty to get better on for this Ravens team. But I'm so happy to be back at 5-5. You know what else makes me happy? Seeing Chris, first one in the comments. The lovely Chris. How are you tonight? It is great to see you. Thanks for joining us. I see all the regulars in here, and hopefully some new faces pop in. Don't be afraid to pop in. Say hi. The ladies and gentlemen in here are the best, the very best. You know who else was the best last week was Mr. Zarotniak himself. I had this written down on show notes tonight. Jason Z predicted a 23-17 Ravens win. The final score was 23-16 Ravens. So Zarotniak only 1 point off. Vegas actually won last week. Their predicted score that we put up at the bottom every week on what the score should be about was right on. 23-16 is what Vegas had it. My guy, TY, great seeing you. Great seeing you, TY. Got in on the wired action over there on ravens.com. So it was great seeing a bunch of you over there. Dario, Jason, the man, the myth, the legend. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'll let you know, or I'll let you decide for yourself which one of the 3 I am not. The Linda J. Hi, Jason. Hi, all. King Blaze. I saw you with an alternate at signal or alternate thing. But yeah, King Blaze by any other name is blazing overall. Anyway, so I love that. Dwiz, your paso, my bro. So been missing you. Glad to see you back, Dwiz. Glad to see you back. Cosmonaut Project, what's up, family? Don't call it a comeback. Yeah, the Ravens have been here for years, putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a mine. Boom, listen to the bass go boom. And hey, Rave Kingdom, Huddle It Up Films. Yes, sir, we're in here. Hodari made the live, made another live. Yeah, that's 2 in a row, Hodari. Good seeing you, man. Let's make sure I'm not missing anybody else. FVP, hey, Jason. Hey, Heather. Like, we made it, Heather. Back to 5-5. Oh my God, Taurus. I've been wondering where Taurus has been. Where you been, man? Where you been? It is good to see you, Taurus. Great to have you back, man. Can't wait to have you participate tonight. Hear what you have to say. I will try to be pay attention to the comments, but it's tough when I'm on my own. Got spilling the tea. Tila in here. Not sure what that profile pic is, Tila. Looks like some wine drinking in there. That doesn't look like tea. Okay. And Mr. Loop, hey, special segment, not for you, but I had a segment cooked up. So I'm pretty impressed with the Ravens kicker. Biggest kick of his life coming up. We're going to talk about that. Okay. And barely saw it in time. What's up, Big Al? Laid back Big Al in the house. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, what a win over the Jets. Let's get to the first slide. Loop's clutch kick, the hurricane win, and more north weather ahead. The biggest kick of Tyler Loop's young NFL career in his rookie season. Just so proud. 44-yard field goal into the dog pound to tie the game. Was such a struggle to score. The Ravens were trailing for most of that game, going into the fourth quarter, down by 3, down 16-13, and a 44-yard shot with wind gusts reportedly up to 40 miles an hour, a steady wind of 20. And that end of the stadium is a nightmare. It's the right side of your TV in Cleveland, it's the right side of your TV in Baltimore, and it's the right side of your TV in Pittsburgh. Those are the tough ends to kick in. Notoriously tough. Tyler Loop did not faze him. Straight kick, cut through the wind. And I really enjoyed seeing Tyler on the lounge with Ryan Mink, Garrett Downing, and Randy Brown talking about everything. It was a wide-ranging conversation. They were on for like 45 minutes. So after you get done watching this, make sure you catch Tyler Loop, Randy Brown on the lounge. It was a really good show. But impressive performance by Loop and this entire Ravens team. It took everybody in that game. A lot of ugliness, as we were predicting last week, with a dominant defensive line that the Cleveland Browns have, the dominant defense overall, the swag in which they play, despite not being a good team, not having a quarterback. It was a really impressive performance. And again, turn the ball over 3 times and win on the road and win in Cleveland. I mean, we haven't swept there since 2020. Who was it last week that was calling? It was Justin. Said that we were going to sweep them this year. And sure enough, we did. So just so impressed with Tyler Loop in that game. It just stuck out. That is not an easy place to play. The defense overall held Cleveland at 2 of 14 on third downs. And now they're all the way up to 10th in the league. The Baltimore defense is ranked 10th in the league in third down defense, an area in which we struggled earlier in the year. Remember, time of possession was not on our side. We were down towards the bottom of the league in that. All of a sudden, we're top 10 with third down defense, getting teams off the field after that, holding Cleveland to 2 of 14 on third downs. Okay, so yeah, and I see TY in here gifting a membership. Thank you so much, TY. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And Dario, yeah, Randy on the lounge said M&T was the hardest to kick in. And I heard Justin Tucker say that many times too. And people always, they think that because the kickers stay in his home stadium is the toughest to kick in, that's just him pumping himself up. Or Randy said it, heard other people say it. M&T, something about the way the stadium is laid out, the scoreboards and the swirling wind. Apparently, you don't feel it too much in the stands. I mean, been to other stadiums, it doesn't seem any different as a fan. But apparently on the field, those winds really kick in. So yeah, Dario, good point there. And we got a super chat in from Heather already. Thank you so much, Heather. Harbs being so stubborn got my quarterback hurt. I really hope to see Emory Jones and hoping Carson Vincent. We could slide Rosengarten over, put Vincent at right tackle, and Emory Jones, Voorhees, or follow Lele spot. So a lot going on there, Heather. My prediction, I know you've heard me say it before, say it again. I'm thinking Thanksgiving for Emory Jones. And the reason that I picked that, which would be in 2 games, is because we have a Sunday game and then we turn around, play on Thursday. That's 2 games in 4 days. I'm still holding firm that they're going to play Emory. And people are going to think I'm a fool for thinking that, but I have a feeling they really like Emory and they're going to put him in one of these guard spots. But I don't think they want him playing 2 games in 4 days. So I think this week in particular, we start the same 5. And then Thanksgiving, we play Emory Jones. If they're going to move the line all around like that, I can't see them making wholesale changes out there like that. Carson Vincent, I think, is a break glass in case of emergency. But man, to your point, we have to change something up because running between the tackles. I mean, look at our big play last week in the run game. It was a numbers game. It wasn't a straight uh, running play, basic running play, outside zone. It was basically a trap, a quick hitter. Wham block trap, quick hitter. So pitch left, pitching out. We have to outnumber guys. We have to deceive guys in order to get that running game going and to break a big one. And that's just no way. You wonder why we're struggling in the red zone. We're all the way down, I think, to 27th in the red zone. I think the fans know why. I think it's pretty well known at this point. Mr. Loop says he's going to that Thanksgiving game. Yeah, night games at the bank. Hopefully we win this one because that Detroit was such a letdown. And Grayson 8. Hey, back again this week. Thanks, Grayson. What's up? He started a Ravens TikTok account, started posting on it. Thank you for your advice. Anytime, man. Anytime. And if you want to post the TikTok like address or whatever down there, feel free to do it. I know not everybody's cool with that, but other channels or whatever. But you can post your thing here, man. It's all right. It's all good. So yeah, big win in Cleveland. Just we have this game against the Jets coming up, and then more north weather ahead. So it's going to be a cold, windy finish for Tyler Loop. You think about it, we have 4 more home games, and then our road games are at Cincinnati, at Green Bay, at Pittsburgh. So more challenges ahead for Tyler Loop in this kicking game. And it's going to be more and more important as points become a premium during playoff time. We're playing these division games. They tend to be close no matter the records of any teams. Green Bay is going to be a tough game. So that was a great sign last week that Tyler Loop came through, and he's looking for that first game winner. And so am I. I'm looking forward to a game winner, although I don't like close games. Would rather us win by a good bit. I think this week we might win by a good bit when we start digging into the numbers. So anybody know this saying? Spare the rod, spoil the child. But in this case, spare the rod, and the rods are Tyrod Taylor and Aaron Rodgers, A-Rod. 2 relevant quarterbacks for the Ravens this week. Number 1, Tyrod Taylor is taking over for Justin Fields. The Jets finally making a quarterback change. And it was kind of weird because Aaron Glenn has been coy about who he's starting and would say things like, well, the players know who we're starting, but I don't need to tell y'all who we're starting. So you would have figured if he would have surprised us and put Tyrod Taylor in the game to start, that he wouldn't have told anybody. But he came out Monday. Tyrod Taylor's our starting quarterback. Tyrod, congrats to you, by the way, man. 36 years old. Time flies when you're having fun. 15th season for Tyrod Taylor, and this is his 7th team, the New York Jets. So we know a little bit about Tyrod, but not a lot, quite frankly. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him. A lot different than when he was a 6th-round rookie than he is now at 36 years old. So curious to see what Tyrod looks like. My initial take on this is that I knew that some reporters think that this is they would rather face Justin Fields than Tyrod. Me, when I'm looking at the matchup, I kind of disagree. And I see both sides of it. So I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for the Ravens, that Tyrod, or if it doesn't matter, that Tyrod is starting. But when I look at the Jets team, the one thing they do well is what? Run the football. The Jets can run the football. They have Breece Hall, talented back. And Justin Fields used his legs a lot. The threat of the read option, the scrambles. Tyrod, extremely mobile when he came into the league. He is 36, so he's not as good of a runner as Justin Fields. So I don't mind playing Tyrod. I actually don't. I think that the Jets could limit possessions, control the game better, maybe with Justin Fields, even though Justin Fields in the passing game is just, man, he's got a lot of work to do to be a starting NFL quarterback. Let me check on the comments real quick. You guys can see them scrolling down the bottom. Can we get back to 30 points? Yeah, Tila. That's what I'm looking for too. It feels like we've been in between 20 and 30 for a long time. After we put Huntley in, that is. But yeah. Ty saying he doesn't see comp pick coming for Daniel, so if Emery is ready in the next week or so, he will play. I mean, I'm hoping that that's not even in their thinking. It probably is Ty because they love their comp picks. But I mean, the goal is to win right now. This is Lamar Jackson's pride. So prime. So I'm hoping that they're just will take our ball at his word, saying they're playing the best five. I don't think it's the best five, but yeah, comp picks and stuff, man. There's a there's a time and place for it, but right now is not it. You can keep the rod though, Taurus being inappropriate. Love it. Okay. And hey, Tracy's in here. Hey, Jason, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. So outraged that LJ is getting hit so much. He is their franchise quarterback. Can't help but to get hurt. Yeah, missing practice again. You know what, Tracy? I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I have a feeling Lamar's going to be taking Wednesdays off for a little bit. You know, maybe the rest of the season because I don't know. It seems like he got hit in that Buffalo game and just has been nursing and got stepped on in training camp. Like who knows exactly what happened, but I mean, when he needs to step it up and run, he does. But they're staying away from the read options. Obviously, it's a run if you need to type scenario for Lamar. That's what I'm seeing. At least I'm sure others are seeing it out there. But yeah, I'm saying this since the offseason, your best two players on offense are Lamar and Derrick Henry, and they're standing right behind five guys in front of them. We should have invested more heavily in the offensive line. It's so frustrating. And yeah, from the Lamar perspective, how do you not protect the franchise? And Lamar is the franchise. And then for Aaron Rodgers, second rod we're going to talk about broken bone or cracked wrist, something of that nature in his left wrist, not his throwing hand. And his status for Sunday and beyond is kind of up in the air. Now, he does not need surgery to fix the wrist. So he can play through it. The issue is if it's safe to play through. Will it get worse? What kind of brace can he wear? Can he handle the snap with whatever protective device? So when listening to Tomlin's press conference and listening to Aaron Rodgers' comments, it's not a pain issue. It's not a surgery issue. It's whether he can play through it and protect himself and be good to go. But the Steelers, obviously only one game ahead of the Ravens, need every advantage they can get. They are going to Chicago this weekend. Hey, good luck. That Chicago team is playing well. Yeah, left wrist. I see in there for Dario. Exactly. So let's talk about these divisional details and take a look at what's coming up for both teams. The divisional deets. I'm keeping that banner. I like that. For the Ravens, you can see 3 straight home games coming up after playing 3 on the road. The Ravens had 3 straight home games, 4 out of 5 at home, as a matter of fact, before they closed the season out with 2 road games, 2 tough ones at Green Bay and at the Steelers. And as you can see for the Steelers, they only have 3 home games remaining. So the Ravens have 3 in a row coming up. The Steelers are going to be on the road for 3 out of their last 7, including the next 2 trips to the Bears at Chicago before they come home for the Buffalo Bills. So look at these next 2 games, one game at a time. I know. So this control what we control. Beat the Jets, get to 6-5. Beat the Bengals, get to 7-5. Let's see where the Steelers are after these 2 games. So before we come head to head, Week 14 at M&T Bank Stadium. Man, that is going to be a banger. But it's almost AFC North times, guys, and we cannot overlook this Jets team. Pedal to the metal versus the Jets. Like Tila said, let's get to 30. Let's get to 30 on these guys. I doubt the Jets can get to 30. It's an offense that's built around the running game, ball control. Garrett Wilson is out. He's on IR, their best playmaker. So 30 points. If we can get there, we're going to be good. We may not need that much against the Jets. We'll see the Vegas lines and the point spreads and all that stuff later. So, yeah, there's the look at the divisional matchups between the Ravens and the Steelers. Was going to put the Bengals on this list, but after they lost to the Steelers last week and dropped to 3-7, I'm not looking in the rear view. We're looking straight ahead, fellas, and that's the Ravens versus the Steelers. So that's how it shakes up. That's how it shakes up. That Packers team is kind of a tough team to figure out. They tied Dallas. I think the Packers lost. Didn't they lose to the Browns? Then they played well. Jordan Love looks great. Jordan Love looks average. Jordan Love looks bad. Can't get a feel for him. And then that Patriots game, man, selfishly, I want to win the division, and we got to win one game at a time and all that. But that Week 16 game against New England has got my attention. Like, I want to see what that looks like. I want to see how real New England is, and I want to see how this Ravens team builds up to Week 16. Can we get the offense fixed? Can we make some changes across the offensive line? Maybe get Emory Jones in there. Yeah. And Alex is trying to outdo you, Tila. Don't take that from him. Do not take that from him. Alec wants to get to 40. Yeah, let's get there. Let's get there. And Tora saying only concern for the Green Bay game is the weather, Lamar, and the cold. Yeah, Lamar plays pretty good in the cold, but he looks cold. Lamar looks cold. He is not shaking the Florida man accusations anytime soon. I mean, he was wearing the old I don't know, shiesty, shall I say, dare I say, indoors in Minnesota. He was all bundled up. So yeah, early on in his career as a Ravens fan, I was like, man, I don't know, man. This Florida guy, does he play well in the cold? Turns out he plays really well in the cold. But yeah, I was nervous at first when I first saw Lamar all bundled up. I mean, shoot, he was asking to practice outdoor in the wind and the rain last year when Chris Berman came to town and interviewed Harbaugh for a big Ravens game. Lamar is not afraid of the cold. So, yeah. But there we go. There we go. A look at the divisional deets. So we talked about this man a couple of times. Let's get the exact quote from Harbaugh. Emory Jones is making quick and excellent progress. You don't really usually hear that from Harbaugh. So that definitely caught my eye. And it's part of the reason I'm going to stand strong and say, come Thanksgiving, Emory Jones is your starting. I'll call it right guard. I think Emory Jones comes in, plays right guard in that first Bengals game, Thanksgiving. Getting close to be able to play. So not be an option, he's not getting close to be able to option, or he may be an option for us soon. Harbaugh said he's getting close to be able to play. Now, I think Ashley, I saw on Twitter, Ashley, if you're in here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ashley doesn't believe the Harbaugh smoke screen. She's going for the, not falling for the banana in the tailpipe trick. But I don't know. I've been kind of stubborn on this, thinking Harbaugh's set in his ways and not going to make a change. But the way he talks about Emory Jones is kind of glowing, and it stands out to me as a little bit different. So I'm not sure. I see Josiah in here saying he agrees. Yeah, I don't know. I just have a feeling that Emory's going to come in sooner than later, and I'm picking out the Bengals game. Another quote that got me kind of pumped up, actually. Harbaugh was asked about Tavius Robinson today, and he said that Tavius is getting close. He was on schedule. But then he mentioned number 29, Ardarius Washington. And he did so unprompted. The reporter was not asking about Ardarius. He just, you know how reporters do around here. They got to be pretty careful with Harbaugh to get anything out of him. You got to ask politely. And, he had already answered the injury questions and didn't want to say anything about Lamar, didn't want to say anything about any guys or the injury report we'll see coming up. But he did say, unprompted, hey, Ardarius is getting close too. So when each one of those players gets activated, they will have a 21-day window in which to be on the roster or out for the season. But Tavius, I think, is a key to this team. Just talking about him for a second with the edge setting. I mean, we're relying on Ajabo to set the edge on early downs, doing some of the dirty work. Mike Green could use some taken off his plate. He's playing a ton of snaps right now. And this Ravens run defense has been up and down, and the yards per carry numbers don't look pretty. We'll see that coming up soon. It's one of the worst categories that the Ravens had is yards per carry allowed. So having Tavius set that edge during the run game, and then just being an aggressive player, a clean-up sack kind of guy, can run some stunts with Tavius. We've seen him get sacks on stunts inside before. As a matter of fact, against Burrow and the Bengals had a problem with Tavius. So I'm getting excited about Tavius coming back. And then Ardarius, I don't see how that can do anything but help us. I mean, where is he going to play? Who gets subbed in and out? Does he play for Gilman? Does he ease his way back in? Is there a package for him? I don't know the answer to any of those questions. All I know is that injuries happen, guys get banged up. You need all the players you can get, especially all the talented players you can get. Nardarius Washington, man, he is just, it's not going to take him long because of his instincts and everything else. Like if he's physically ready and he's getting back into football shape, working himself out, I don't know what he's doing, how long, what kind of workout he's doing, what kind of ramp up he's doing, but mentally, Ardarius, it doesn't get any better than him. Just an incredibly instinctive player is Ardarius Washington, and you're not his size, 5'8", 5'9", a buck 60 in the NFL, playing as well as he did, without just being a tremendous football player. So 2 guys who could really help this defense coming back soon. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of love for Ardarius in here. Tila, let's go through some comments. Emery said he's been cleared, so hopefully he can get in soon. Don't debut him in the playoffs. No, Tila. Yeah, we need to know way before then about Emery. I mean, because there's a chance that Emery's just not ready, and the guards that we have now are the best option. But I find that hard to believe. I think Emery. And to your point, also, give him a couple of games to really get his feet wet. So when he's hitting in the postseason, he's really starting to find his stride in the NFL and not just fish out of water learner. So absolutely, you got to get Emery in before then. The tough part is a lot of fans will be nervous and say, "Oh, we got all these important games coming up." But one thing that I'll stand on that I think happens, Tila, is that when Emery Jones, if he's inserted at right guard, our running game's automatically going to get better. Pass pro, like miss block, pressure rate, that kind of thing. Okay, he's a rookie. Maybe he will struggle, but Fale hasn't been great in pass pro. A lot of times he's lost. He doesn't pick up blitzers, that kind of thing. But in the run game, I'll say with confidence, I think Emery Jones will come right in day one, game one, and be a better run blocker than 77. He's just mean, man, and he knows how to use his weight. Some players are strong in the bench press like Voorhees, but you never really see the strength show up. Emery Jones knows how to run his feet. He knows how to set a target. He can sink his hips. He can move defensive tackles against their will. And, of course, NFL is a different kind of athlete. But Emery Jones has strength, and he plays just absolutely mean. Jason, since you won't answer my calls, what's your take on the Grayson trade? I mean, this ain't an Orioles show. But, will Grayson ever be able to make it through season? I don't know. Heather giving love to Ardarius. Warhop getting some more heat. I mean, he deserves it, Jason. He deserves it. We've seen these guys regress. And, we were talking last week with Ryan from the Flock Rundown. If we could just get the performance that we got last year from this offensive line, we could be a top 5 offense again. And we really, really need it. Yeah, Ardarius would be a wonderful addition. Yeah, I have no idea what it will look like. All I know is having Ardarius on your team is a good thing. Is a good thing. And he can ease his way back in if he's hurt. Yeah. Alohi Gilman, I think Ardarius is a better tackler than him. Alohi's been great in the communication aspect. But, man, playmaker, running to the ball, rallying to the ball. I like what I saw from Ardarius if he's able to make it back to that level. And, yeah, Latavius can take Josiah is exactly Ojabo's role, early downs, and Ojabo's not playing a ton of snaps right now. So when Tavius comes back, that's a good way to ease him in. But eventually I want to see him take, stuff off of Mike Green's plate too. Mike Green's playing a lot of snaps. I would love to see him just be able to relax a little bit, catch his breath, calm down, and really get after the passer. Twiz, taking a tier, D-line him out, and put K-Ham there. Yeah, that's one thing. We'll just go with an old, instead of a 3-4 defense, we'll go with a 2-4 defense. Yeah, that doesn't exist, but yeah, something. Just get Kyle on the field anywhere you can. Get Ardarius on the field anywhere they can. Okay, so I want to share something with you guys actually before we go on any further. Let me take this off real quick. So you guys were asking for merchandise swag. I got an initial idea up here. My son designed this, so please be kind. But if you are planning or were planning or asking for me to come up with merchandise, what do you think of this design? What do you think about this logo? So I was thinking about having this on the back and then on the left chest, maybe having the same logo on the left chest. I kind of like it. This was the one that I liked out of the ones that he presented. So I'm wondering what you guys think. If you like this, would you buy something that looks like this? For those, the question for those of you who wanted the merchandise. Um, that's the best I've come up with. I thought my son did a really good job on it, actually. So yeah, the next question would be, I've looked at different sites. I'm not sure how to sell these teams. So if any of you are on Twitter or if you want to email me or anything like that to let me know a good way to get these to the people that want it. I don't want to buy 100 of them and be stuck with them. So I want people to be able to buy them as they go. So if you know a good company for this, that'll charge good prices, so people can afford them but still have good quality. That's what I could use help with next. But this is that's the design that I've come up with. I want to share that with you guys. Put the football in velvet. Okay, all right. And Tila, well, she's having some drinks over there. All right, so you guys kind of like it, yeah. And for those of you watching on replay, let me know. I mean, you don't have to hate on it. That would be unnecessary. But if you like it, and if it's something that you would consider buying, let me know. But the next step is to figure out how to get these things to you guys. So I'll be calling Engraven, some of the other content creators, and getting advice. You say Amazon, Josiah? Somebody else mentioned Etsy. Yeah, I'm not sure how any of this works, so I could use some help. Exclamation point after family. Okay, I hear you guys. Okay, so let's break into the matchup. It is that time. It is that time. First, we're going to take a look at the injury report. And I don't know why StreamYard does that to me. It's always the little previous slide. The injury report, let's start with the Jets. I listened to their head coach, Aaron Glenn's press conference today. He said that the two guys who didn't practice, which is Will McDonald and Harrison Phillips, are just fine. So it's a rest day for one of their top edge players, Will McDonald, and the longtime Minnesota Viking, the big defensive tackle, Harrison Phillips. They should be good to go. The only question mark would be their corner, second round pick from this year. I believe he went in the second. Azaria Thomas. He's coming off a concussion, was a full participant today. So the Jets they're pretty healthy. He said that Thomas obviously cleared concussion protocol, which you can tell by the full practice there. Okay, so for the Ravens, you see all the did not practices. Rashad Bateman, I would imagine he needs another week. I don't know what you guys think, but when I did the matchups and the prep that you'll see coming up soon that we do every week, did not have Rashad Bateman on there. Kyle Hamilton showing up, DNP. You see Lamar, Likely, Keon, Roquan, Ronnie Stanley, just an illness, rest day for Ronnie. He's been resting 1 day a week at least, and Voorhees with a foot. Harbaugh would not give any information on any of these guys. So I have no idea which guys are in danger of missing the game and which ones are just getting a rest day. The Ravens, of course, are coming up on 2 games in 4 days. They play on Sunday. They play on Thanksgiving. So maybe it's just a general rest day for guys that are beat up. Or maybe like in the situation of Keon Martin, I have no idea what happened with his rib, but I don't know if you saw it, but Keon had to stay in Cleveland after the game. So maybe it was a cracked rib or a bruised rib, or maybe, they were worried it was going to puncture his lung or something like that if he flew home on the plane. So Keon had to get cleared in a Cleveland hospital before he could come back with the Ravens. Wouldn't be surprised to see Keon Martin miss a game here. The rest of the guys, they looked fine in the game. They finished the game. Marlon coming back with the little protective device, saw him catching passes today at training camp, or not at training camp, at practice. So he was catching passes. Maybe the finger's good to go, and Marlon will be back this week. But this is something we're going to have to check throughout the week. Tomorrow is a big day, and of course, Friday, the biggest day. to find out who's out, who's questionable, what the status is. So yeah, the injury report not pretty for the Ravens. Hopefully, this is a lot of precautionary stuff and people aren't out. Okay, seeing some love for the t-shirts. All right. Hey, and our guy Justin's in here. The Mark Andrews Hurricane fake tush push goes down as one of the greatest plays in Ravens history. Yeah, the only thing that would have made it greater, Justin, is if it was like a playoff game or something like that. But we could look back at that play, and we could look back at the Tyler Huntley start against Chicago, and those could be two of the underrated moments of the one of the greatest underdog story comeback from 1-5 to winning it all stories. Man, if the Ravens play well, can put this all together. And I still am not impressed with the AFC overall. Kansas City loses this week to Indianapolis. All of a sudden, their backs are firmly against the wall. If Kansas City drops to 5-6, and of course Indianapolis is in first place in their division, that could be tough. Buffalo's defense looks like a sieve. Don't know what to think about the Patriots. Denver Broncos, Bo Nix, just not scary. I think the Broncos, though, are a bad matchup for us. I told Alec this earlier this week. The Broncos and their defense and being able to get home all versus our offensive line would be a tough task. We're gonna have to play a lot better. Okay. I want to bring up this Ravens defense first instead of the offense this week because they deserve their flowers. Now, I haven't seen Ashley in here. Hope Ashley's okay. But we actually have two spots in the green. The Ravens are top 10 in the NFL. They sit 8th in yards per pass allowed at 6.7. They sit at 10th on third down percentage allowed on defense. Only 36.5% conversion rate for opposing offenses. And the Ravens have come a long way. And yes, I understand the competition lately hasn't been great, but that early season competition with Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, the things have evened out a little bit for the Ravens schedule wise. And hey, top 10 pass yards allowed per play and on third down conversion. The points allowed have continued to come down. Total yards allowed have continued to come down. The rush defense, mentioned early, that's been the underwhelming thing where I'm hoping Tavius can help this team a lot. 22nd in yards per carry allowed. Ravens are allowing 4.6 yards per carry. Man, I yearn for the days when the Ravens were under 4 yards a carry allowed for, I think, most of their history. Then through the Ray Lewis years, it was hard to run for over 4 yards a carry on this Ravens defense. They had a long consecutive game streak, not allowing 100-yard rushers. Then that was broken. Then they had another one. So the run defense is lacking, but the pass defense has come up. The red zone defense has come up. The third down defense, obviously top 10. Still 30th in sacks. We're only 15. We're able to get 3 last week, but we were way behind in that category. So let's look at the New York Jets offense. A lot of red. And it comes really through a tale of two phases here. The pass game, they're as bad as it can be almost. 139, 140 pass yards a game is last in the NFL. They're averaging 6.0 yards per pass. So that's why they made the change to Tyrod. But I think what Tyrod hurts them on is the rush yards and the yards per carry. So you see, even being a bad team like the Jets, they're still gaining 5 yards per carry on the ground, over 140 rush yards a game. So this team can run the ball, and the Ravens' rush defense has not been good. So that's a big key. Can we load up? Can Travis Jones dominate? John Jenkins dominate? Can our edges hold their own? What kind of Roquan are we getting? Can Teddy continue his ascension? Yeah, it's a lot of questions to stop this Jets rush game. And I'm kind of glad we don't have to deal with Justin Fields on that. The Jets, you talk about weakness versus weakness. Ravens only 15 sacks on the year. The Jets have taken 36 sacks so far. That's 29th in the NFL. So their quarterback is getting hit a lot. Pass protection is not their thing. Run blocking is their thing. Pretty good taking care of the ball. The Jets are, only 12 turnovers on the season, which isn't bad for a team like the Jets with their record. So I decided to start putting a note at the bottom and not just the last meeting and the score, because I always say, do you guys remember what happened in that game? And then I forget to come back and tell you what happened in that game. So the last meeting was September 11th. That was actually opening day of 2022. That was in New York. Ravens 24, Jets 9. Remember Devin Duvernay with his 2 touchdowns that day. And who was the Jets quarterback? Somebody we've gotten very familiar with again, and maybe we'll see him on Thanksgiving yet again. Joe Flacco, hon. He was the Jets quarterback that day when the Ravens won 24-9. So yeah, it's been a few years since we played the Jets. We haven't finished in the same place in the standings, so we don't match up on the first place schedule, second place schedule, third place schedule, fourth place schedule. So it makes sense. We haven't seen them in 3 years. For the Jets, though, you can look at the passing, for Justin Fields. The only thing he did really well was take care of the ball. 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. So congrats to Justin Fields for that. The accuracy has always been an issue. Taking sacks has always been an issue for Justin Fields. Tyrod has played a little bit this year, and you look at his numbers; they're actually worse than Justin Fields. Now, I do have more faith in Tyrod to be able to complete passes, to see the field better. We know Tyrod doesn't take a lot of chances, plays efficient football, or has played so far this year for the Jets, though. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for Tyrod. That's not like him. Tyrod's one of those guys where when he plays a full season, or if you project out a full season, low 20s in touchdowns, but only like 5 or 6 interceptions. Tyrod usually takes care of the ball really well. But I think what a break for the Ravens is that running game. Look at Justin Fields and his impact in the rushing game. They, of course, have a really good running back in Breece Hall, averaging 4.8 yards a carry. But look at Justin Fields, 5.4 yards per carry and 4 touchdowns. So Fields, they like to use his legs on the goal line. And again, this is where I think that the Ravens actually might get a break not facing Justin Fields, because we just saw on the team rankings, what did the Jets do well? Run the ball. Taking Justin Fields off the field kind of weakens the Jets' running game. Their number 1 receiver, Garrett Wilson, picked before Kyle Hamilton in that stacked 2022 draft. He is on IR. Okay, so their leading receiver is out. Their second leading receiver is a rookie tight end, Mason Taylor, nephew to Jason Taylor, also related to Joy Taylor. For any Joy Taylor fans out there, that is Mason Taylor, their tight end, having himself a nice rookie year. You can see he's caught, almost 3/4 of the passes thrown to him, 276 yards. A lot of short stuff, though, for Mason Taylor, 5.8 yards per carry. You see, so Wilson is out, their number 1 receiver. The next guys on the list, tight end, running back, Breece Hall, running back, Isaiah Davis, and then the other receivers on the team. I mean, there's not another receiver on the team other than Garrett Wilson who has more than 21 targets. Yeah, the butter pecan. I see you, Taurus. Behave yourself. Taurus. I knew you would. I knew you'd be with me on that, Taurus. And yeah, you know what? Bold prediction time coming up. Stay tuned, Tila. Stay tuned. Lamar Jackson on the Ravens side, 117 for 172. So we've seen this completion percentage come down from Lamar. Still sitting with 15 touchdowns, but now 3 interceptions after those 2. One went off of Rosengarten's helmet. One went off of Keaton Mitchell's hands. He should have caught. So fluky interceptions. As Lamar, usually the only interceptions he throws are the fluky one. He still leads the league, though, even after that low quarterback rating last week at Cleveland, getting sacked all those times. He's still at a 115.5. That's shaded in purple because he leads the league in that. Derrick Henry found his mojo, 100-yard game. He is now at 4.9 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns. And looky here. Who is the 3rd leading rusher on the team? All of a sudden, After a few weeks, it's Keaton Mitchell and limited touches. It's Keaton Mitchell. 21 attempts for 124 yards for Keaton, almost 6 yards per carry. He has added some juice to this offense. Took you long enough. By the way, anybody notice, and I know, I can't prove this, but I didn't want to say this on Twitter, but there seems to be an internal feud going on between Monken and Harbaugh. And even watching that Ravens Wire that they just put out, seeing Monken in the locker room after the game, it's just everybody else is like way high, and Monk is just like, I don't know. But Keaton Mitchell was inactive. Harbaugh deactivated Keaton Mitchell for special teams reasons for the first however many weeks. Keaton gets active. And then if you remember last week, before the Cleveland game, a reporter asked, "Hey, is there any chance that Keaton Mitchell earned more touches?" And Harbaugh said, "Well, he was supposed to. We had plays for it, but for whatever reason, we didn't get to it." So you're going to deactivate, take Keaton Mitchell away from Todd. And then 2 weeks later, say, "I don't know why Todd didn't use him as much as I told him to." It's like, come on, John. Come on, John. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but that kind of caught my attention. Zay Flowers, leading receiver by far. Look at the yards per target for the receivers. 9.9 for Zay Flowers, 9.5 for DeAndre Hopkins. The rest of the guys are in the sixes. Missing Bateman. Think he sits out another week. I don't know who else disagrees with me or agrees with me. But yeah, I think Bateman probably sits another week. And then somebody else who just made the list for the first time, Isaiah Likely, is now sixth in the team in targets. Expect that number to rise. Likely has caught 12 out of 16. And that's when, including, what was it, last week or the week before against Miami when nothing was going right, or against Chicago, nothing was going right for Likely. He couldn't hit the broadside. He couldn't find the ball. Still 12 out of 16 for Likely, 118 yards, averaging 7.4 yards per target. And I see my guy Q in here. Q, it's great seeing you, man. Thanks coming through. Yeah, I pulled up your Tila comment, but appreciate seeing you, Q. Okay, so let's get to the other side of the ball. Let's take a look at this Ravens offense. Ravens offense versus the Jets defense. The Ravens offense, there's really not a lot I can take from these numbers. It really isn't. You've had Lamar in, Lamar out, Cooper Rush in, Tyler Huntley in. The numbers are just all over the place. Been good in some games, been bad in some games. I think the one consistent in the area that the Ravens need to improve on is the red zone. 28th in the red zone. And, you'll have fans and even some analysts tell you, well, the run game don't matter. The pass blocking is way more important than run blocking, which I understand pass blocking is more important in a passing league. You pass more times, yada, yada. But you want to wonder why we're, 28th in the NFL in red zone. It ain't because of our pass blocking. You want to wonder why we're facing 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s. Lamar's having to hang in the pocket and get hit. It's because of the running game. Running between the tackles on average down the distance and at the goal line. It's been a struggle for the Ravens on and off. And again, that Henry play, that big play he busted that almost went for a touchdown, we outnumbered them on the right side of our offensive line. Bam, trap block, Charlie involved, Pat Ricard involved, quick hitter, more of a deception play than a straight up, hey, we're going to run outside zone on you, or we're going to run inside zone on you, or we're going to run counter on you. Again, Monken is having to trick his way into a run game and just wear teams down and hope they break. So very frustrated with the red zone percentage. I don't think we're as good at running the ball as those stats say, as you can tell from my soliloquy there. But yeah, man, when you got Derrick Henry, it should be easy money. Mr. Loop saying protect the football. That's really what it's all about, Mr. Loop. Yeah, I'm still impressed that last week we turned the ball over 3 times and won that game. It's just an amazing win. Uncle Todd has no filter, so I wouldn't be surprised if he probably told Harbs about it himself. I'm sure he did. You get to a certain age and a certain status, and you have pride, and you're tired of it. It wouldn't surprise me if Monken has been calling for new offensive linemen and Harbaugh wouldn't budge. And he's like, "Why don't run the ball in the red zone, Todd? Well, I can't. We can't call this and we can't call that because our guards can't block anybody. Just call it, Todd. They can do it. All right, fine. Harbaugh, here you go. And they're banging their head against the wall, getting stuffed at the goal line. And Keaton Mitchell, that would help. Well, he doesn't play special teams. And then give him Keaton Mitchell. Like, I can see all this going on behind the scenes, Tila. And of course, I have no idea. That is just speculation. But Todd does seem fed up. I could do a video on the red zone. Man, it would take a while. I would have to search games, but I could do that. I could definitely do that, Heather. Predictable though, when Henry runs on the first play, everything in the red zone, defense cheats on him very bad. Yeah, and they're shooting gaps. They're shooting gaps on us, Mr. Loop. That's definitely a fair point. Okay, so this Jets defense, let's talk about them for a second. Points allowed, you see them near the bottom of the league. Yards, pass yards allowed. Their pass defense is really what's holding this team together. But of course, most of those stats were accumulated with Sauce Gardner, the All-Pro. And if you've seen some of the charts on yards per route run and separation stats, Sauce is up there. He doesn't make a ton of interceptions. Teams generally don't throw at Sauce. So this Jets pass defense, since trading away one of their best pass rushers, Quinnen Williams, the monstrous defensive tackle, and Sauce Gardner, their number one corner, their pass defense has dropped a little bit. Rush defense, they're getting worn down. 4.4 yards per carry allowed is not bad, but 130 yards per game is 23rd in the NFL. And again, teams are just wearing them down. The shocking one, and this is not a typo, the Jets have one takeaway on the season. I repeat, through 10 games, they have taken the ball away once. Almost like a stat you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a team this deep into the season with only one takeaway. So to Mr. Loop's point, protect the ball, protect the ball, protect the ball. You can bet that the Jets coaches and the Jets are hunting for that turnover. We cannot be the team that gives it to them. And I see my guy John in here. Harbs does seem to have a stubborn streak, for sure, for sure. So yeah, that's what the Jets defense looks like. Only 18 sacks on the season. They have Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson as their edge rushers. Some talented guys, but not getting that push in the middle with Quinnen Williams is going to help them. So let's go ahead and add the Jets defense to the stage. Now, man, I could not wait to highlight this matchup because DeAndre Hopkins is playing a lot of X receiver in place of Rashad Bateman. And from what I've seen at the Jets, on the Jets, Brandon Stephens has been their right cornerback, like he was in Baltimore, staying on that right side. He's the only one really with size. Quantez Stiggers, who I'm not really familiar with. Stiggers did not go to college, but he's 5'11". Jarvis Brownlee, the slot corner, is 5'10". So Brandon Stephens is the one with size and strength. He's parked at right corner, defending a lot of these X receivers, and D-Hop is going to be matched up with him quite a bit. Brother, we have all felt the pain of Brandon Stephens at the catch point. Great coverage by Brandon, physical player, good tackler, seems like a great teammate, does whatever you ask, doesn't say much until it's time to go up and swat the ball away at the catch point and not get in pass interference calls on you. I want to know what it feels like to be on the other side of this, and to counter it, we don't just have anybody. We have one of the greatest players in NFL history at contested catches with DeAndre Hopkins. So I know for a fact that you guys are looking forward to that Brandon Stephens, DeAndre Hopkins at the catch point, because Hopkins is not going to separate on Brandon Stephens. He's not a separator in the first place. Brandon Stephens, sticky coverage. I mean, that's why he had such a great 2023 season with us. Great coverage guy. Lost at the catch point, can't find the ball, has no timing either. Like, he doesn't know when the ball is going to get there. So Ravens fans awfully familiar with Brandon Stephens. Thank you for your service, though, Brandon. Turned out to be a pretty nice third-round pick. Got paid by the Jets. So we get to see D-Hop versus B. Steve at the catch point. So I mentioned their other quarter stickers did not play college, matched up against Dave Flowers. Also, would not surprise me. I mentioned the height. Quantez Stiggers is 5'11". So do you put D Hop over on the 5'11" cornerback? Can you imagine Brandon Stevens covering Zay Flowers? Maybe they switch things up. If Brandon's going to be on the right side all game of the defense, maybe they hunt for some matchups. Jarvis Brownlee, the slot corner, 5'10". They have your like prototypical old school smaller slot player, not a Kyle Hamilton. They have a small player in the slot. That seems like a pretty good matchup for Isaiah Likely when we go to 12 formation. Something like this seems like Likely having 5 inches of height plus on their slot corner will be a good matchup. I love the Ravens pass game in this matchup. I just really do. Yeah, got to take advantage of that matchup. D Hop about to cook. I just can't wait to see it, Q, because at least one shot's coming. And I hope it works, and I hope Lamar goes to it again. And I hope if it works, I hope Lamar goes to it again. And I'm wondering how much help he gets, how much safety help he gets, whether it's Malachi Moore or Adams. Heather, dare I say an early bold prediction? D Hop with another 2 touchdown game. We saw that against the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, and sorry, B Steve. Yeah, we have a special place in our heart for B Steve, but it was also a crazy relationship with B Steve because he would be right there and just not be able to cash in. And yeah, Steven's having to jam Zay and run with him. I don't think he can guard him either. Um, Brandon is a big, strong corner. So maybe you get Hopkins on the smaller corner on the other side and let Zay go up against Brandon Stevens. I think the Ravens have a lot of matchups to their advantage. We saw the Jets pass rush not getting home. Like if this is a team that we can actually pass protect against decently, I think Lamar could have a really big day. Okay, elsewhere on this, let's take a look at the lines of scrimmage. Ronnie Stanley, looking for a big game for him for the reasons that I just said. Now, Ronnie's coming off a rough game against Miles Garrett. Understandable, no shame in that. Ronnie's getting older, but he's up against former first round pick Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. I believe Johnson started his career at Georgia, went to Florida State, has been a steady player with the stacks, but not a world beater, not a Miles Garrett. And again, if the Ravens can protect, they can pass protect. They're going to have success against this Jets secondary, which has got a lot of smaller players in it. Their safeties aren't big. We can burn them. Lamar can burn them. The playmakers can burn them if they're given time. So I want to see Ronnie Stanley step up, protect Lamar Jackson's blind side, and have himself a good game and get himself ready for divisional play. Yeah, you have Briggs on the inside, big guy. I think this is the kind of player that Voorhees can match up well against. But my thing with Voorhees is he's got to get his technique down better. He's got to keep working on that and just stop leaning over his skis. But Briggs has not been the best player from what I've seen at stacking, shedding, run blocking. He's not going to give you a lot in pass protection. Big body with Briggs. I think Voorhees matches up well against him. If he's lined up over Lele, I think this is the kind of guy Lele can handle. Harrison Phillips, their other D tackle, longtime Minnesota Viking. He knows what he's doing out there for sure. And his technique and strength could give us problems. And then on the other side, come on, Roger. We need you. We need Roger Rosengard. Step back up, really close the season strong. Will McDonald, really good pass rusher coming out of college. He's still a little green. So both of those players are young in their career. They might have went the same draft in 2024. McDonald versus Rosengard. Derrick Henry, can he have another 100-yard game? Man, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. So that's the personnel part. Their linebackers, by the way, Jamie Sherwood, Quincy Williams. Again, I look at this team and I see a lot of replacement level players. Adams, Moore, the whole roster really. Stevens is their big free agent signing, and then their edge rushers, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. That's where the talent should be. Those are the guys where trying to negate in this matchup. Harrison Phillips, if you want to count him, but again, he's an older player. The Ravens look really good in this matchup. It's just what we've been looking for all season: consistent execution. Can we consistently execute against this team? If we can, man, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I think that is, in fact, my last slide of the evening. So, hey, here we are, Chris. If you hear hide your eyes, Heather, hide your eyes. It is time for score prediction time. Time for it. Okay, let's check the Vegas odds because last week Vegas predicted about a 23-16 Ravens win over the Browns, and the score was in fact Ravens 23, Browns 16. So what did they say this week? Well, the numbers don't add up as perfectly as 23-16. The Ravens are a 13.5 point favorite. The over/under for this matchup is 44.5. That adds up, by my calculations, to about a 29-16 type game. 29-16 would be about how Vegas sees this. So go ahead, type in your score predictions. I'm about to give mine and my reasons. My prediction, 4 touchdowns for the Ravens, 2 field goals for the Ravens, 2 touchdowns for the Jets, 1 field goal for the Jets. So we're going to double them up in both categories. We get 4 touchdowns. They have 2. We have 2 field goals. They only have 1. That adds up to a 34-17 Ravens win. Ravens come home. They break the 30-point barrier. Jets get in with some strong running from Breece Hall a couple of times. Maybe Tyrod makes a play. But for the most part, this Ravens defense steps up. They have held opponents under 20 points in 5 straight games to see if they can make it 6. I think they do. I think they hold the Jets to 17. And I feel like I'm being pretty nice and generous giving the Jets 17. I can see the Ravens holding them to 13 or holding them to 10. And my bold prediction, I'll get to it now before I get to all the comments. For the first time since week 1, 2 things happened by the same player. Zay Flowers, I think you mentioned him earlier, Tila. I think Zay gets his first 100-yard game since week 1 and scores his first touchdown for week 1. So over 100 yards and a touchdown for Zay Flowers. Shoot, I'd like to see him get 150 and 2. The steady player for Zay, steady season for Zay Flowers. Seems like every week he's getting 70 yards, catching a high percentage of his passes. You saw his yards per catch, yards per target up there above 9. So great season for Zay. But how about a signature game for Zay? How about a breakout type game for Zay? Maybe he goes for 142 and 2 touchdowns. That'll be my official bold prediction. 142 yards, 2 touchdowns for Zay Flowers. Let's see what y'all got to say. I see Go Man in here. Okay. Or at least I saw Heather shouting him out. Okay. Heather, see a Jackson 5. That's right. He's telling Torres, see a Jackson 5. And cue the guy backing her up. Might be a Jackson 5. Okay. Lion got a block. Let's see if we can find. There's Go Man. What's going on? Where are those score predictions? I must have scrolled up too far. Okay, John simply says blowout. I love it, John. That's my kind of prediction. Short, sweet. John predicting a blowout. The Linda J, 34-9 Ravens. What's going on, Linda? What's going on? Josiah, similar score, 38-10. And Justin with a similar score, 35-9 Ravens. Tila, man, you guys copying off each other? I see everybody with the same kind of score. 40-10 for Tila. 50 burger up on the scoreboard. 40 of those burgers for the Ravens. Grayson, thanks for checking back in, staying with us. 38-6 Ravens. All right, Dario's finally doing something different. There you go, Dario. 28-10. He sees Ravens victory. Like Dario, 28 would be okay with me because it would mean that we got in a bleeping end zone 4 times and have to settle for field goals. Really looking for this red zone offense to step up. Kwame 33-9. Go, man. Man, I would love to see that. With a game coming up on Thursday, we have a big enough lead where Lamar can sit and rest, put the sunglasses on, laugh on the sideline with T. Martin. I would love to see that. Get Ronnie Stanley off his feet. Whoever else is beat up, get them off their feet. Get Marlon out the game. Rest that finger up. Get some young guys. Get Vincent in the game. You know, if whoever else is active, get Keandre Jackson some action on defense. Man, it would just be nice to have a win like that. Hughes with us, 35-17. All right, Taurus. There we go. Something different. 27-17 Ravens. That sounds like kind of still a commanding win, but we're going for more here. We're going for more here. Uh-oh, TY needs a dub on his birthday week by any means. TY, a November baby. Who knew? And possibly born in 1989? We'll never know. But the clues are there. But TY is saying 27-6 Ravens. Alec, 42-10. Is this your earplugs, Heather? I'm not sure what that is. I'm not going to take a guess. All right, Taurus is saying 27-20. You're making it closer, Taurus. Mr. Loot, 45-17, would love it. That's only one Loot field goal, though. That's not enough action for him, but I'm sure he'll take a week of rest. Samuel coming in 33-13. Go, man, 42-0. Man, this would be, again, that would be another game where Lamar and the fellas are just chilling in the fourth quarter. We could use that with another game coming up on Thanksgiving. John clarifies his blowout, saying 41-10 Ravens with another Jackson 5. Okay, love it. Yeah, well, Fields not going to run that ball, bro, because Fields ain't playing. It is Tyrod Taylor time. Or I think he's clarified. It's Tyrod, but it's kind of always Tyrod to me. Like, I can't get the Tyrod. Just doesn't, I've spent too many years saying Tyrod. Go, man. Mark Andrews with 3 touchdowns. And then if he does that, he will hold the triple crown for the Ravens. Receptions, touchdowns, and yards if he would get that 3 touchdowns. Kolar, 2 touchdowns. Zay, 56 yards. You know what? I think you're just trying to be what's it called? You're just trying to play the devil's advocate. Now this will be a bowl win. Project Pat is not getting in the end zone all year. He actually, it seems like he gets in at least once a year. We haven't seen that yet, Heather. I like that bowl prediction. Lamar scores a rushing touchdown. Haven't seen that much. 33-13 for Samuel. Okay. A Huntley 3. Yeah, that would be funny. Dario, I like this comment. Jackson 5 is cool, but I would rather run in the ball from the 5. We are having trouble with that this year. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like Jackson 5 is flashy. It makes us feel good. Lamar gets to add to his all-time stats. But like for where this team is now, if we can pound the ball inside the 10-yard line, say first and goal from the 9, Dario, to your point. Hand the ball off twice, get 9 yards and 2 runs. Man, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Samuel, bold prediction. Likely and Flowers have at least 70 yards and a touchdown. Henry has 150 and a touchdown. Man, that's a specific bold prediction. I love that. I love that. And TY's birthday is today. Happy birthday, TY. I'm honored that you're spending it here right now, at least this part of it. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for all the support. Thanks for going back and forth with me on Twitter. Always have good things to say. If you're on Twitter, find TY, and I'll probably comment under his tweet sooner or later if you can. But he is the man, bro. TY is the man. God bless you, TY. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. So there's no better way to sign off than to wish our guy TY happy birthday. So that is all that I have for you guys this evening. I want to thank you so much. Did a cut up of the Ravens pass rush. with Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders. That's on the channel. That's doing pretty well. The one that I'm working on right now is of Chidobe Awuzie Stay. He made my notes so many times, even when the ball wasn't thrown to him. Excellent coverage by Cheeto. So I'm going to do a cut up of Cheeto on pass downs. Cut out the rundowns, make it shorter. Just Cheeto's play on pass downs against the Browns. I think you guys will enjoy that. And upsettingly enough, the offensive tape that I got is missing offensive plays. So I was going to cut up all the O-line, couldn't do it. So I apologize for that. But with that, I want to say thank you to my football family. Love my football family. Thanks for all the support out there. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all your feedback on the t-shirts. Love you guys. Love you ladies and guys so much. And we will catch you next week, the day before Thanksgiving, the day before the Bengals game. We will have an injury report, and we'll get ready to face possibly Joe Burrow. But first, we have to take out the Jets, get above 500, and maybe even tie those Pittsburgh Steelers. So with that, I want to say thank you. Love my football family. Y'all have a good night.